guys, welcome to today's video. So today's a little bit different. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my Coolsculpting experience. If you follow me on Instagram, then you saw a couple of weeks ago I had Coolsculpting done. If you have no idea what Coolsculpting is, don't worry. We're going to get into, here in a couple of minutes, we're going to get into more details on what it is. But essentially it's a very non-invasive alternative to liposuction. So you guys know I'm very active and fit. I work out pretty much every day. Well, not every day, 5 days a week. I eat pretty clean most of the time. I do like my wine. I do like my sweets. I don't restrict myself. I don't hardcore diet. But after having 2 children and, you know, I'm in my late 30s. Can I say that? I'm 36. I'm in my late 30s. And, you know, it's harder to lose certain pockets of fat than it was 6 years ago. And so Coolsculpting is really a great option for someone like me that is a healthy weight. It's not really a weight loss procedure. You know, I'm not doing anything to lose weight. It's really just to target and minimize fat in particular areas. So to be totally transparent with you guys, this video is not sponsored. I was not paid to do this. However, my Coolsculpting treatment in one area was comped. I have been interested in Coolsculpting for years. In fact, probably last year sometime, I actually reached out to Coolsculpting nationally and sent them an email and said, hey, I really want to have this done. I would love to document the, you know, I would love to document the process because I think it's really helpful. And I think people that are interested in doing something like this always look for real results. You know, you always look for information online outside of the company's website or the place that you're going's website. You look for real people's experiences. And I thought that that would be helpful. I never heard back from them, which is fine, but someone locally here did reach out to me and ask if I wanted to, you know, have one area done and document it and share it on my channel. And I jumped at the opportunity because, like I said, it's something I've personally been interested in doing for a long time. In fact, I was so interested in it that while she did comp one area, I decided to actually pay myself and have another area done. But I did want to disclose that with you guys because I know some of you are going to be thinking, was she paid to do this video? Did she get all of it done for free? And no, I wasn't paid. Yes, some of it was comped, but again, I did pay out of pocket for some of it because I really, really wanted this procedure done. So I'm documenting the whole process. I'm getting 2 treatments done about 5 weeks apart. And I'm gonna show you guys the whole procedure in this video. I'm gonna save my before and afters until my last video because you really can't really appreciate, I think, the results at this stage where I'm at, 3 weeks. They say it takes 3 weeks to a few months to see results from each treatment. And again, I'm only 3 weeks out. I can say though, I have already started to notice a difference. And you guys will see in the next part of the video exactly what areas we targeted and kind of the amount of fat that I had there. I'm already noticing a difference. My stomach is much flatter. I can only imagine what the results will be like after my second treatment, and I've given a full month, you know, after that treatment, because what I can say now is that my stomach is like much flatter. It feels like, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but the way my body has been the last several years is I've carried a little bit of extra fat right here on my tummy and then on my waist. I guess you call them your love handles. But at the end of every single day, I always felt really bloated. My stomach always stuck out a little bit. It pooched a little bit. And that has considerably gone down just in 3 weeks. So I'm really excited to see these results and share the process with you. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I highly encourage you to do that because I'm able to share more results there. And I do have a story saved on my highlights called Coolsculpting, which you can see the whole process because I'm going to be documenting it there too. But on YouTube, I'm going to have 2 videos. I wanted to have this video to show you guys the first appointment and how that went. I also have a short Q&A with Laurel, CORRINNE, who is the person who performed my Coolsculpting. She's here in Austin, so we answer a couple of like frequently asked questions about the procedure, cost, results, areas of the body you can do it, who's it good for, all of that stuff. That'll be in this video. And then in the next video, you guys will actually see the before and then the after. So I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I have no medical training. I cannot answer questions related to that. So if you guys have questions about my experience and I don't answer them in this video, you can leave them in the comment section below. But any questions related to, is it safe for this? Should I do it if I've had that? I don't really feel comfortable answering those because I don't want to give you the wrong information. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's go ahead and flash back in time to 3 weeks ago. Hey guys, I am so excited. I am here at Laurel CORRINNE studio. I don't know if you can see it back there, but I'm about to start the Coolsculpting process. So today is March 8th, it's Friday. I'm having my first treatment and I'm going to be freezing the fat off of my flanks, which is basically like the sides of my stomach, my waist area, and then I'm thinking about doing my lower tummy area too. So I'm going to be here for a couple of hours. We're going to go inside. I want you guys to meet Laurel. We're going to be asking her all your questions that you guys asked me on Instagram, and I'm going to take you along the whole process. I'm going to show you my befores, my afters, and the whole process, because this is something that I have been interested and curious about for at least a year. I remember a year ago researching this procedure, and I never went through with it just because I wasn't sure how effective it was. I didn't know if it was worth the cost. I just didn't know. So when I had the opportunity to do this and film it and share it with you, so I thought this would be helpful for those of you that are maybe looking at fat loss procedures but want something non-invasive, because that's what Coolsculpting is. It's a permanent way to reduce fat cells, and it's non-invasive, so it's an alternative to liposuction. But before I tell you everything I know about Coolsculpting, we're going to go inside and talk to Laurel because she is the master. So let's go in. Hey guys, so I'm here with Laurel CORRINNE. We are in her studio, and before we get started with Coolsculpting, I wanted to sit her down and kind of ask her some of the frequently asked questions that I got on Instagram when I told you guys I was doing this a few days ago. And I also want to introduce her to you and kind of let her brag on herself for a couple of minutes, because she has some amazing credentials, which I think are obviously very important when you're looking at any type of cosmetic procedure, whether it's non-invasive or invasive, obviously. So will you kind of tell us about your background and your training?
Yeah, sure. So I started about 10 years ago. I worked for a plastic surgeon, and that's where I started Coolsculpting. So right when it came out, I started doing it at his office, and I had personally tried every other treatment, every heat treatment, and it wasn't until Coolsculpting that I got amazing results on myself. And then throughout the years, I got amazing results on patients. So that's why I decided to specialize in Coolsculpting. So I have a lot of experience, and I've been to the Coolsculpting University 3 times. The last class was a master's class, so it was all people that have been doing Coolsculpting for many years. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
When I had my consultation with Laurel, you mentioned that this university that you go to for Coolsculpting, there's only like a limited amount of people that have in the world or something that have graduated or have this certification. Is that right?
Yes, very few.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's the girl to go to. If you were in Austin, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, anywhere you can drive here or fly, she's the girl to go to. Okay, Laurel, I want to ask you a couple questions that I got on Instagram.
Perfect.
Okay, so the first thing I want to ask you is, what is Coolsculpting? To someone that has never heard of it before, can you kind of give us the 2-minute rundown on it?
Right, so it's like getting lipo in that we freeze the fat cells and they never come back. So what happens is the fat cells are frozen and crystallized, and they go through your lymphatic system. So over about a month to 4 months, actually, you can get results, depending on, you know, I have people drink a gallon of water a day, that's your goal, and work out to really get your lymphatic system going, so they'll move through your system fast.
Okay, and how do they move through your system? How do you get rid of them? Do you pee or in the mouth?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and
so,
sweat and
yeah,
just the way the body eliminates toxins and things from your system.
Right.
Is that how? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You had to kind of break that down. After we had our consultation, I got online and I'm like, lymphatic system, what is that?
Yeah, like,
I know. Like, I should probably know this, but. Okay, another question that we got are, how many treatments do you typically need? Do you, you just mentioned that you get results within 3 weeks to 4 months, or a month to 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning on doing 2 sessions. Can you talk to me about why we decided on 2 and how you determine how many sessions people will need?
Right, so you get about 20 to 25% reduction in the fat layer each time we do a treatment. in the area. So you will see results from one treatment. So in your clothes, you'll feel a little bit better. But I always say that with that second treatment, it really is a wow factor, and other people can tell that you are smaller and you've lost inches.
Okay. So people typically do about 2?
Yes, so that's the average. I do have a few people that do 3, but it kind of depends on each individual.
Yeah. Well, so we were talking at our consultation, she mentioned 20 to 25%. So before she could mention like 2 would probably be efficient for me, I'm thinking, okay, 20, 25. So I need to do 4 to 5 because I'm thinking 100% fat loss. But if I stop and think about it, we're not trying to eliminate 100% of fat because that's not what we want. Right? We all need to have a little bit of fat on us, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's healthy.
And so how do you decide who's the perfect candidate and who is not maybe a necessarily good candidate for this?
So usually people who have little stubborn pockets of fat. So pretty in shape, you work out, you're healthy, but no matter what you do, either because of genetics or just all your life you've had a little pooch in your stomach, really Coolsculpting is great to spot treat because it's really hard to spot treat when you're working out. I mean, you can somewhat, but Coolsculpting really can spot treat areas.
Right. Yeah, because working out, you lose fat, but you can't target where you lose the fat.
Right.
Right. Okay, this was probably the most common asked question was cost. And I know it's probably going to vary depending where you live, but can you give people a general idea of what they're looking at?
It starts at about $750 per treatment, but it really is based on the individual on how much that goes and how many treatments you need.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the next question I got a few times was, how does someone pick the right place to go? When someone's researching, how do they know where to go?
I think it's important to research and make sure that the person you're going to has done a lot of treatments and has a lot of experience. And also, I think looking at their personal before and after photos of their clients and patients is important.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I got this question a couple of times. If you gain weight, after the Coolsculpting, let's say you gain weight, does it go to other areas you didn't have the Coolsculpting, or does it evenly distribute throughout your body? How does that work?
Right, so still when you gain weight, the fat is going to be distributed throughout your body just like it normally would. You should not gain weight in the area that we've treated because you have less fat cells. So you would have to gain 20 to 30, quite a bit of weight to notice fat in that area.
Okay, so if your weight fluctuates like mine does 5 pounds throughout the year, I won't notice a difference.
No, you won't.
Okay. And you said something really interesting to me before we turned the camera on about how we're born with all the fat cells. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yes, so at adolescence, you're born with all the fat cells that you're going to have. So when we do Coolsculpting and we take fat cells from that area, you're not going to just automatically just gain fat cells again if you start gaining weight. So you would have to gain, a couple hundred pounds to accumulate more fat cells.
Oh, okay. So when you gain weight, the fat cells you already have just multiply, or how does that work?
So they expand. So we're not taking all the fat cells in the area. So if you were to gain quite a bit of weight, the fat cells that are still there can fill up, but you're not going to gain more fat cells.
Got it. Okay, so that's how you gain weight, is the fat cells that are there are going to expand.
Right.
But okay, so when we say that we're freezing the fat cells permanently, that's what you mean, that fat that's gained at a later date has to be because you gained an excessive amount of weight, and it's the fat cells that are left that are expanding.
Right.
Okay. Got it. I think it's just cool. It's just good to kind of clarify that because I think it's confusing for some people. Okay, areas of the body that people can do.
Okay, so you can do your chin, and then you can do arms, under the arm, actually in the back of the arm also. You can do the little bra fat here. You can do the back, anywhere down the back, all the way to your flanks, love handles.
Which is what we're doing today.
Yes. And then you can do inner and outer thigh. You can do your knees, and then you can do right under the butt, which is the banana roll.
Yes. When at my consultation, we were trying to decide what the best area would be for me. And we decided we're going to do flanks because I think that's going to be where we're probably going to see the most improvement. Yes. But the banana roll is on my list. Yes. That is like that is such a stubborn part for me to lose weight. It is so, that's always been my area. And this is a personal question I have for you. So I never really had an issue with my midsection until after children. And I don't know, and that's been my confusion. It's like, is this extra skin or is it extra fat? And then if it's extra fat, how is that related to childbirth? But then I know it's like, okay, you have kids, you're a little bit older, hormones, stress, like all of that stuff contributes to weight gain, right? And it's just, I've noticed personally that it's just been so much harder to tighten that area since having my second daughter. It's so hard. Right. So, yeah. So you want to make sure that you're a good candidate for Coolsculpting. So if you do have a lot of loose skin, then I would suggest that you're not a good candidate for Coolsculpting. So it's important to go in, have a consultation, make sure that you are. Yeah. So I'm going to leave all of Laurel's contact info in the description box below if you're in the area and you want to do a consultation with Laurel. You book those, are they complimentary or is it part of the complimentary? Complimentary. Okay. Awesome. Well, let me see if we have any more questions before we get started. Okay, this is one I wanted to ask, but I don't think we can really address it. But does this work for someone like me who's had multiple abdominal surgeries? And I think you probably just say to consult with their doctor before doing anything. Yeah. And I actually have a hernia that I'm going to have repaired soon after I'm done with all this treatment. But I did consult with my doctor. Actually, yesterday I scheduled the appointment because I just wanted to make sure, because we're going to be doing an area that's close to it, not on it, but below it. And I wanted to just make sure that that was safe, and he cleared me. So, okay, I think that's it. You ready? Yeah. Yay.
So Laurel is putting these stencils to basically stencil out where the applicator or the tip is going to be placed. We ended up doing 4 of these tips. So we did one here on my left side, and then we do the same size tip on my right side. And then we ended up treating my lower tummy, same thing, 1 on each side. So all in all, we had 4 tips, which each tip was on for about 35 minutes. So here she is stenciling the other side. Then next you're going to see her apply a protective sheet layer over my skin. That's what she's doing now. So the best way for me to describe the way this feels is almost like a sheet mask. It's about the level of thickness, and that's what it feels like. It's got some sticky consistency on it. It basically just protects the skin from being directly in encounter with the freezing mechanism.
Okay, so I'm all situated and set up. I'm attached to the machine. Let me show you what this is like. So this is attached to the first area that we're treating, and it's this long, it's like a vacuum, and it's attached to this machine, and we've just activated the cooling part of it, so I'm starting to feel that getting really, really cold. And Laurel said that it's going to feel really cold for 5 to 7 minutes, and then the area should go numb, and I shouldn't feel it. So that's what we're doing. I'm pretty comfortable right now. Hi! All right, so we are, I think, 5 minutes in. It feels really cold. It's not uncomfortable. It's not painful at all. When she initially put the suction on me, it definitely was like, whoa, but it wasn't any pain at all. And then I just got situated, got comfortable, and then she activated the cooling feature, and so that area is starting to freeze. But I was actually expecting it to feel worse, honestly. When I thought about that area freezing, I was expecting it to feel worse than it does. It doesn't feel that way at all. Granted, we're 3 or 4 minutes in, but this is what it looks like. So this is what the section looks like. You can come over here and show. I mean, this is literally all my fat being sucked in there and frozen. Isn't that crazy? Ah! So I'm just going to hang out here for 30 minutes and treat this side, and then we'll move on to the other sides.
Okay, so after 35 minutes, she removed the tip, and then she goes into massage the area, and she explained this to me as it breaking up the fat cells. They crystallize, it helps them just kind of break up and better move through the lymphatic system. So she's taking this cloth, which is not hot, but it's warm, and she's really massaging this area pretty vigorously, breaking it up. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to break up those fat cells to help them pass through the system better. And she does this for about 2 minutes. So she just massaged the area. She took the tip off and then massaged it for a couple of minutes. I would say maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, and that felt totally fine. And now my this area is like regulating again, and it's frozen. So this is uncomfortable. This is definitely probably the most uncomfortable part of the whole procedure. I think it kind of feels like a burn. She said it will last about 5 minutes. So I'm just kind of laying here and breathing through it and allowing my body to kind of get back to its normal temperature, and then we'll start the other side. So I'm all set up and we are working on the tummy. So we have the applicator here. I have a blanket on me because I brought my computer so that I can get some work done.
So after having it done, I would say for about 4 or 5 days, my that area that was treated felt a little tender. It almost felt like it would have been a little bruised. I didn't experience any bruising at all. You couldn't see any marks, any red spots, any bruising at all on me. But it did feel that way. Like if you touched it, it felt that way. It had this odd kind of numbing feeling too, to be honest. It wasn't painful. It wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't anything that was bothersome, but it was odd, if that's the best way to say it. And I talked to another friend who actually had this procedure done a week before me, and she had the same thing. So I think that's pretty much expected, that for a few days after, it's going to feel tender and you're going to have this weird numbing sensation. I think it went away for me definitely by a week now. I don't feel anything there. It felt a little swollen in the sense that that area did feel a little bigger. You know what I mean? Like I remember like 3 days after it thinking, is this really going to work? Because right now it feels bigger. And I guess that's just swelling maybe from being treated there. But here I am, I think about 2 weeks in. So a week ago is when I was the first time that I could say, oh, wow, like I noticed a difference already. Even my husband noticed a difference. My waist is kind of straight down like this. And he said that he could see it kind of going in like this a little bit. So I definitely can say from what I've seen so far that this is really effective. At this point, are my results as dramatic as I'd like them to be? Not really. I can tell a difference. I don't know that anyone else would tell a difference aside from my husband, who's used to seeing me all the time. But I think that, you know, I mean, I'm only 3 weeks, which is technically when you should start to see results, and they continue for, you know, a couple of months. So I am super excited about this procedure and seeing it the whole way through. I hope this video was informative for you. Feel free to shoot your questions down below. As I mentioned, I'm not really going to answer any medical related questions because I'm not qualified to, but I'm happy to share any questions about my experience that maybe I didn't cover in the video. So I'll also have all of Laurel's information in the description box below. Consultations are free, they're complimentary. So if you just want to meet to see if you're a good candidate for it, or to get an idea of what your treatment might cost or how many treatments you might need, you can totally schedule that appointment at no cost. After I did my research on her, I felt really comfortable going to her and sharing her on my channel because she is really, really highly trained on this. As we mentioned in the interview, I think there's like only around 100 to 150 people that are trained to the level that she's trained in the United States. So that's pretty awesome. All right, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next one, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.